Got to put some rats on the table today, baby. I don't want to do it, but I have to.
Okay, coming out.
Let me ask you a question, Goo. The Golden State Warriors are 3-7. If you're a person out there that says realize that they're going to be fine, what does that mean?
That you're
what
in denial.
What does fine mean?
That you're in denial.
No. But let's say they can. No, I think it's possible they can turn it around. But to what? What's fine? To me, if you're a Golden State Warrior fan, you got to define fine. Because to me, when people say they'll be fine in the Bay, that means we're going to win another title. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, they're not going to be fine then because this is not a title team.
Okay.
This is a team right now that doesn't have an identity, and I don't know that they can get one in 5 months. And here's the other thing. It's becoming clear to me. I'm not sure the veterans are bought into this playing of the young players. I just don't think they are. And they've said as much over the last year or so, but maybe we just weren't listening.
Or maybe the team, and you said it in the changeover, they went and won a championship, but we played sound Friday. You just referred to it talking to E this morning where we got Iggy in the athletic story saying that the veterans could have went to management and said, you know what, we need a ready-made player to maximize what's left for what we got. And then Draymond Green also saying what he said about the two timelines last year. So when you ask me, fine to me is, you know what, we do have the Splash Brothers, but when you play the Golden State Warriors 82 nights, you got to play a badass defensive team that can lock down when it's crunch time. And that's why, to me, Steiny, and I keep saying this, I understand what people are not seeing from Kuminga and Weissman. What worries me is they're not the only ones not playing good defense. And I don't know how you fix that.
Steph Curry's defense has stunk this year. Why can't we? Klay Thompson has been a shell of himself.
So Jordan Poole.
Jordan Poole. I don't think anybody's blaming the young players, but how about pitching in?
And there
Can they pitch in?
They used to say that to me in high school, Steiny.
This is from last September. This is before last season. You alluded to it.
All right.
This is Draymond Green before last season.
Historically, we have not seen that work where you kind of got a mix of old. I wouldn't say any of us are old, but older. Andre's old as shit, actually. But, a mixture of, experience, hardly any experience. Historically, I think in just being a fan of the NBA, I can't recall the last time you've seen someone have success with that. But in saying that, that's our situation. And so you do what you got to do to make that situation work. And so that's where we are. At the end of the day, as a player, you don't make those decisions. I think we have a pretty good balance of young and experience, and, you just try to bring it all together and make it work.
All right, that's Draymond Green before last season. And I like this from the 650. Explain how it's clear. Back up what you said about the veterans not being invested or not being totally on board. All right, that was before last season. Okay, before last season, they were talking about the two timeline things, right?
Yeah.
Can we do it? Can we do it?
And they did it.
No, they didn't do it. That's the point. They didn't do it. Kuminga did nothing. Wiseman did nothing, and Moody did very little. They did not win a title combining young and old. They won a title old because Otto Porter helped.
Bielitsa
helped.
GP2.
Gary Payton II helped. Okay, so they did not overcome this two timeline thing last year. In fact, they scrapped it.
Okay.
They essentially scrapped it. So guess what? They won it all without the kids. And now the Golden State Warriors are saying, I know we won it last year. I know the goal's to win it again, but we've got to get these young kids some playing time. What do you mean? If I'm Steph Curry, I'm like, what do you mean? We won it last year. Give us a little more help than
when would if you were Steph, let me ask you this. When would that have taken place?
Well, it took place last offseason when the three guys went and said, get me a veteran.
I'm doing the temperature check now. How do you think the veterans are looking at this now? Is it still kind of early?
I think
or do you think they're picking up the phone on the way home or to practice? Like what would you do, Steiny?
What do you mean, what would I do? I do nothing now, but I'd let it play out. But like, what can they do?
That's the sobering part. And I'm not mad at Kuminga. I'm not mad at Weissman. Okay, I understand why you're not getting it. Maybe you're overwhelmed. You ain't ready. Upstairs, you ain't ready. But team-wide, this defense and what they did on this road trip, and then to have leads and squander them, leads of 16 points, 4 points in a minute when that's been a staple of this championship run. And I'm going to ask you this. We love Coach Kerr. Just sat down with him. What do you think he meant when he said there's going to be changes in the
Big deal. Kuminga's going to play, and he's going to take Wiseman's spot.
And that's concerning.
Why?
Because that means I don't think you really, if that's what you're going to do, I don't know if you got the antidote in that, Coach.
I actually
don't. It's bigger than the rotation.
No, maybe it isn't. Maybe Kuminga gives better minutes than Wiseman, and it helps the bench a little bit.
Would you be at the point where Poole maybe starts and you?
No.
And so that's off the table.
Hold on.
I was just going to
say it again.
Clay coming off the bench until he gets ramped up.
He's never going to come off the bench.
I'm just
because
asking.
It's Klay Thompson. And we heard last year Steve Kerr say, I'm riding or dying with Klay Thompson. Klay ain't coming off the bench. Like, that ain't happening. And you know what? Okay, he's been terrible this year. What's moving him to the bench going to do? He's going to all of a sudden get great? No. This is Iguodala last year on the Point Forward podcast. Really, I want you to take a listen to what he's saying. 888-957-9570 if you want to jump into the conversation on if you think the Warriors are going to be fine, please define what fine is. Because if fine means a title, I don't think they're going to be fine. Not with this team. Here's Andre Iguodala and Curry last year on the Point Forward podcast. This is last year.
Like, they got this narrative now. You know, we got a championship squad, and then they're going to build another one at the same time that's coming right after us. I'm like, man, y'all know how hard it is, man. And do y'all, like, we know.
I've been talking about that all day today.
Yeah, like,
the people that are here, like, how hard it is to win in this league.
It's so hard. We made it look so easy that they think it's like, oh, we about to do it again. I'm like, all right. We kind of wait for 6 years to come and be like, I told you.
That's what you got to wait on. Like, either it's going to happen or it's not.
Right.
That's the game that you're playing.
And we're actually we're putting sweat equity into that team by what we're breathing.
We believe it.
But what we're breathing into Wise and what I'm breathing into Kuminga and what you're breathing into Moses, like, we're breathing into them like, yo, y'all can be great too. Like, dudes don't be doing that. You have bad vets.
For sure.
Oh, man, that was
from last March, the Point Forward podcast.
Again, you're going to laugh. You're going to be like, what are you talking about? But, Iggy, that was strong, but it's too strong now a year later, and you're nowhere to be found. They need him on the court, man.
650, give me a sound bite from this season.
And that's what's scary.
All right, it's Steve Kerr.
I also think young players in America grow up attacking one-on-one all the time, and then they don't generally have much college experience. And so they're used to being able to just put their head down and drive to the rim because they're the best athlete on the floor. So young players have to learn when they get to the NBA how to play without the ball, how to play as a five-man unit, because unlike 20 years ago, they don't play in college for 3 or 4 years and learn how to do that. So the NBA is, we're a development league. We've become a development league. Half the guys in this league are projects that we're trying to develop because the system is kind of built that way.
Yeah.
Damn.
So how can you play guys who aren't ready to be NBA players and expect to win an NBA championship? Like, they're saying it. To me, they're all saying it. That I don't know if this can be done. And the mere fact that 2 of those were from last season, the principle holds. Because they didn't rely on their young players last year, Goo. They got off to an 18-2 start with Iguodala. Then they found the Poole, Porter, and Bielitsa and Gary Payton II. And Poole was terrific last year.
But if now, okay, it's like a chessboard. If I can take off Kuminga, any impact from Kuminga or Weissman, and it's no shade at Green, it's no shade at DiVincenzo, but those to me, they're just guys. And now if you're going to get, I don't want to call it a step back defensively from the core guys, and it's those guys taking over for the guys from last year's roster, this is what you get. But I'm looking at you right now on this Monday, Steiny, and I'm telling you, if I'm the Warriors organization, and this is the dirty little secret because this is how I feel watching this team, maybe they shock the world and the next 10 games they hit a button. I don't believe that. I don't like the fact that they got jerseys and Kuminga, the youngsters, and they're not getting time because the only way for them to grow is to mess up on the job.
So you agree they can't do it?
Yeah, and that's my last
so
part of the point is you got to go make a move.
You realize that,
yeah, it's done.
Okay.
Yeah, I've accepted it. Yeah, I reacted to new information. You got to go make a move, Steiny, and it's gonna be uncomfortable. But you don't. If it's how, tell me and the masses how this defense is going to get better. Keep it status quo.
They'll get a little better, and this is one thing I haven't heard anybody talk about, but to me it's obvious. It's putting 2 and 2 together. They foul a lot. It's because they're old.
And that's what we said.
They foul because they're losing
blow-bys.
A little step.
Yes.
That's what happens. I'm sorry. I don't want to be a jerk, but that's what happens when you get older.
It's real. I know.
888-957-9570. That's the phone line here at 95.7 The Game. It's also the Xfinity mobile text line. Where are you with the Warriors? And if you're a Warrior fan who says we're going to be fine, I want you to define what fine means. And I like this one from the 831. Fine, to me, is defined as getting a 4th, 5th, or 6th seed in the playoffs. That's the real expectation. That's T-Dog. I don't think you're winning at all from the 6th spot.
Right.
I don't think, because here's the reason I don't think you're winning at all from the 6th spot. Because if you get to the 6th spot, that means you're a 44-win team. Well, why are you a 44-win team? Because you're a 44-win team. Not like last year, what'd they win, 53? A 53-win team can win it all. A 44-win team? There's a reason you win 44 games, and that's because you're not elite.
Okay, but Steiny, it's not about being elite during the 82-game season. And the reason I made that bet
bench.
is, but listen,
they have no bench.
I just gave you guys a scenario to where Kuminga and Weissman have no impact. I didn't think that's how it was going to be. I thought it would be, hey, why'd you win 44 games after you just won a championship? Oh, we let our youngsters go through puberty, and we took a couple steps back, so by April, we'd be ready to go. But if you're not going to play them, and we got to just sit there and watch them rot, then I'm worried.
They're both playing 15 minutes a game.
But Steiny, sometimes they don't even play. And Weissman, when it was open gym Friday, he couldn't get in. Like you did. See, now it sounds like I'm begging or I'm asking for a handout. And I'm not. But Steiny, for the mental aspect of it all, Weissman would have been in that game Friday.
And what, giving up rebounds?
He wouldn't have been no different than anybody else.
Well, you can't say that because now the starters didn't play. You tell me why Weissman can only play 12 minutes when 5 guys are missing.
Okay, so all of a sudden now, go. No, I don't get it.
Steve Kerr does not want to keep these guys off the floor. He just can't play them because they don't help.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm everything I'm reading, Anthony Slater, and I'm not saying he's wrong. So let me get this straight. Kuminga goes 3 or 4 D coaches to send DMPs. Did not play.
Right.
Okay, gets to play in a game where the starters aren't there, which I didn't understand.
Right.
So now he cracks the rotation with basically I'm not no shade at Kuminga. I know he's athletic and has an upside. So now 18 points in an open gym environment, that gets you into the rotation, and now Weissman is the man on the outside looking in. What about empowering these guys with an opportunity?
You want to make the playoffs this year? Do you even want to make the playoffs?
Are you really telling me they're that bad to where you think this team can't make the playoffs with them, even on a bad night?
How many minutes a game are they playing?
12 to 15.
Well, that's what they're playing now, Goo.
Well, Kuminga ain't playing 12 to 15. Kuminga's getting DMPs.
Well, the average number of minutes when they play.
Wiseman's playing 8 minutes.
Well, you don't win with 20-year-olds. You don't win titles with 20-year-olds. And you know what? How about this? I know I'm kind of kidding here. You know why Steve Kerr's going to put Kuminga in the rotation?
I'm listening.
Because of people like you. That's why. Because he hears the noise. He hears the noise outside. Nobody knows why this Kuminga guy isn't playing. Nobody can fathom it. And you know what? Steve Kerr's finally like, okay, fine, I'll put him in. I'm going to put him in so everybody can maybe see what I have to watch every day in practice.
You know what? And I'm going to take it one step further. Listen, I was the biggest Jonathan Kuminga fan, but I saw something in Summer League where they empowered him to have the ball and show what you got, your gifts. And there was nothing foul or erroneous. I just saw, you need to work on a lot of stuff. So, Steiny, when it's just open run and Kuminga can run and jump, he's going to look like the best athlete in the gym. But guess what? When there's resistance and guys are set up, then you got to use what's upstairs. And with his inexperience from only playing, 12 G League games, he doesn't have that. And it's different. He reacts and plays different. But you can't overcome that by sitting on the bench. That's all.
And you that's can't win with him playing. So now what do you do?
I don't have that answer.
Yeah. 888-957-9570 is the number. Question I have, and it's after watching the Warriors. They're 3-7 right now. And it feels like to me, the way this roster is constructed, I don't think the problems that the Warriors have are going to solve themselves. I think they can be a much better team than they are now, for sure. But I don't think they're going to be able to meld the two timelines and win another title. If they win another title, it seems so far-fetched at this point to believe that Kuminga and Wiseman will be every game rotation players on a championship team. I don't see. I see such a chasm there that I don't know what. And maybe what you do is you keep them on the bench, or you guess what? They're not going to play as much as we all thought this year. Maybe that's the answer. And you know what? If that's it, hey, fine. What's wrong with that, Goo? You know what? We got young two Wiseman here and Kuminga. They're young players. We got to get them in there. We got to shoehorn them in there. You shoehorn them in there, you realize, we might not be able to win with these guys. So you know what? Let's give these veterans one more crack at it. And Kuminga and Wiseman, you're going to be on ice a lot of the year again.
Let me ask you.
I got no problem with that.
And if you could win 55 or 40 or 50 games doing it that way, I'm all in. Could you explain to me before break, Steiny, what you meant by what would it look like if the problems did fix themselves? What would that look like?
About a 48-win team. About a 48-win team, maybe 50. But I don't. Okay, they're starting 5 and Poole, dynamite. I'm not crazy about any of their guys after that.
And again, is Poole really dynamite?
Well, he can be. He's proven.
But right, yeah.
Who else is proven? Like, I'm not going to hold it against Poole for getting off to a slow start, coming off the bench, when he didn't come off the bench a lot last year, and you're trying to teach the kid a new role. I'm not going to kill him yet.
I got you.
But you know what? Because he's proven.
Yeah, all right.
Kuminga and Wiseman haven't done a damn thing in this league.
Right. And I'm with you on the Poole thing, and I'm with anybody that's listening on Wiseman and Kuminga, but part of this season I thought was going to be, hey, you know what? We may take a step or two back in the regular season, but our two guys that everybody's excited on, we're going to see them, and we're going to give them the opportunity to make a jump. By April, we're ready.
They did.
But I never once, and you told
behind.
me, man. And how do you make that up if you say, you know what, Goo, we're going away from them? And it's happened.
Well, you make it up with the veterans, but I don't think the veterans are as good as last year's veterans.
And if I'm telling you I'm really counting on Andre now, not to be talking to play.
I mean,
you would tell me, Goo, that's like.
I mean, you can hope.
Shouldn't he know now? Whatever you're trying to do to get back on the floor, it ain't last year. Last year was cool. Walk in the park. Oh, we got it, Bielitsa. Oh, we're good. Now he has to know. Okay, this is urgent. This needs immediate attention. I need to be on the floor.
I don't want to be a jerk. Yeah. I'm not even talking about Iguodala. Why are we even talking about it?
Because I'm grasping Dub Nation's grasping his straws.
So what? You know what? I'm sick of Iguodala. I only talk about guys that play.
Be there when I
seriously. Thank you, Andre.
Right.
Really appreciate that. I mean, no, I'm not like.
I hear you, man.
Being a jerk about Iguodala. What I'm really saying is, really, we're 10 games in, and that's what you're left with. Waiting for Iguodala to come back? Well, you're going nowhere then. He's done. Yeah. And even if he's not done, he'll help you in a handful of games. I mean,
I listen to
what are we at? Where are we at in society when we think Iguodala might be the difference between 3-7 and 7-3?
Hey, I listen to our partner, John Dickinson, after every game on the Warriors wrap-up. I listen to Devone and Allen and Shamari. I listen to Whitey and JD Saturday morning. Everybody's talking about this team the same. Tell me if people are out there to calm down or take a chill pill and what will be different. Give it to me. I'll take 2 of them. But Steiny, Helen Keller can see that there's problems on the right. They're right in front of us. And how do you navigate? How do you avoid it?
Good question.
130 to Orlando, 128 to Dump Truck Detroit.
Orlando's a good young team.
Dude, everybody's a good young team.
Exactly. And that's why when these young kids weren't even playing because they're behind a championship core, but everybody thinks, 2 timelines, the young guys will help the old guys win it, and then the old guys will turn the young guys into champions. Guess what? While you were chirping about all that, young guys on other teams were playing. And they probably were already better than those 2 guys who came into the league. Kuminga and Wiseman have no experience. Right. They have none.
Right.
None. Zero.
But what this season about giving them
some of the guys who have come in, who've played college basketball, came into the league more mature than him, and now they're even more mature than him, if you know what I mean, because they've been playing. So, yeah, this is not – I mean, I know Warrior fans aren't dumb. I know they didn't think it was going to be easy. I know they didn't think Kuminga and Wiseman and Moody were just going to be 25-minute players on a championship team. So what is everybody thinking? 888-957-9570. That's the number. If you're a Golden State Warrior fan who says we're going to be all right, things are going to be fine, what does fine mean? Does that mean you're still going to win a title, or this is still a playoff team that can make a run? But if you're not, if you don't think this team's going to be, quote-unquote, fine, what do you do?